Welcome to another episode in the Quantum Human Summit series. This is expanding your multi-dimensional awareness. My next guest today needs little introduction. She is an Arcturian hybrid, and she is one who fully is aware of her multi-dimensionality and even her Arcturian family on board the ships. Let's welcome Viviane Chauvet to this beautiful presentation. Hi, Viviane.
Hello, Lauren. Thank you so much for having me today. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today.
Yes, we can feel the Arcturians here with us, and the energy is so soothing and calming, is what I'm getting at it right now. And we're just bathing in these frequencies. That right there, our awareness of the feeling that we get from this is our multidimensional awareness, right? And so let's start with you giving your definition of what it is, what it means to be a quantum human.
Which I love the topic, and it's so in sync with where we are right now on the planet, what's coming through, especially over the next 3 years or so. So returning into more on a quantum nature as a quantum human being is allowing ourselves to go through the transformational process that release all of us from a linear construct reality that allows us to move out of duality energy and more into a oneness, more into wholeness. So if you look, for example, when the solar energy body shifts, just your solar body energy, or there's any changes in your body template itself, it will affect your brain. It'll affect also your mind. So what happened is that you go through an adjustment, a new frequency or transmission of energy, and that change of energy increases the level of activity even in your body, whether it's the brain function, the alpha state of the brain, the activity, whether it's the neural pathway, whether it's your internal gateway, as much as your what we call your intuitive guidance systems. So you can tell that there's a state of awareness that start to shift out of this old matrix that most human beings for generation have been programmed to, contraction, limitation, more instinctual primal energies. And we're coming back into reclaiming our natural quantum nature as internal cosmic being. So what it means as well is that your perspective, how you see yourself, you're no longer so much hooked on, well, I'm an earth human beings and this is my lineage, this is my stories, this is, the predisposition from genetic, from my ancestors, and there's so little I can do. So you're starting to tap into different, more, I would say, a higher calling, a higher soul calling, where you're getting more in tune with this vibrational signature that is in you, this higher calling that you start to move into, moving out of that primal instinctual energies. And I'll tell you one thing, I recently went to this public event. It was a fair, well, beautiful fair with the family, people bring their children, and beautiful day, and there's food and music and the whole nine yard. And what I do is I observe the behavioral pattern to gauge where are we, how do we people eat, even their body demeanor, the way they dress, what is it you're projecting. And I can tell at what state of awareness, at what level of synergy people were. So for example, if it's an event that is more spiritually based, with higher meditation and higher conscious awakening, with people coming together, I can see the light, I can see there's a higher heart opening, and there's a transcendence of the lower primal energy. It's no longer about the food, it's no longer about like physical survival. It's more in terms of how can I be a conduit of the light, and I come together with other light-minded people. But as opposed, if I go to an event, still public event, that is more basic on stimulus of your senses, shopping, vendors, jewelries, crystals, and all these wow factor. Well, I can tell that there's a retraction. Even I would say almost in the brain level, there's a retraction into more primal energy in a sense that, people become a bit more disconnected. They're more like looking at, oh, what is the shiny? What is the next level of distractions? Or eating a lot of heavy meat or things like that. And I found myself navigating it through what vibrational aspect the event will conduct in terms of what will attract and what level of consciousness is attracted to that event. It's really fascinating to watch right now. So this quantum nature, it's a higher calling that brings us back to the remembrance that we are truly having this human experience, moving out of that dualistic coexistence and shifting into a more acceptance that I am this divine being, and I'm starting to remembering that I am part of this quantum universe that communicates with me, and I am in constant communication with a multitude of intelligence. But when I'm here in this human shell, this human experience, it's almost a contraction of all the senses that becomes more attuned with what the environment or the pace of the environment is about. And I found it very fascinating from an intergalactic perspective, of course, if that makes any sense. And we can tell, Lauren, there's a distinct vibrational movement, like a catalyst of changes coming on the planet. So what does it mean from a quantum perspective? It means that we are being called to be returning to sacred balance, balancing our thought, becoming more benevolent with the way we perceive ourselves, the way we project our energy, the way we also present ourselves, even in a public event or a family gathering or a meditation. So in other words, is that we're becoming more harmonized, being who we are, no matter where we are, no matter what the situation. It's allowing ourselves to becoming much more, I would say, multidimensionally present, as opposed to disconnect ourselves a mental response or an emotional trigger point response, or a physical response where the energy contract well below the solar plexus, whether it's your sacral, your roots are being activated, but you can still be in that multidimensional presence. And that includes being empathic. So still having those empathic responses. And why is it so important from a quantum nature? Because being empathic is the ultimate bridge that brings your higher self and your higher mental faculties back to your heart center. And this way you can harmonize your entire body structure, all of your chakras, all of your intuitive responses at any situation, at any time, everywhere, all the time, because it's becoming a second nature. Yeah, you're rediscovering this deeper nature in you. I know I feel very passionate about it right now, but the energy is so palpable. Can you feel it?
Yes, and it feels so good and so comforting, actually. So we know what is going on and how we are beginning to remember, sensing different things, remembering past lives, seeing the connections between all things. That's what I'm witnessing as well. People are stepping into that, and it's beautiful. And so we are here to support that movement, that effort, that transformation on the planet. It really is a great time to be here and to be standing in our energy in this way, standing in our power. That's empowering. So I love this topic that you are talking about, soul synchronicity. So this, and it is what we're talking about as we become more of a divine human and a quantum human, then soul synchronicity plays a huge part of that. Let's start by what is soul synchronicity?
Yes, it is a huge part of it. The soul synchronicity It's the remembrance of the pathway to your own soul design. So prior to this incarnation, your soul has chosen a very specific pathway or a design or a blueprint, if you would, that will allow you to accomplish or give you the most higher probability to accomplish what your soul has come to relearn, observe, encore, or even to release, whether it's resolution from past lives on a karmic level, on a soul group level, and even planetary level. And I'll give you an example of this in a moment. But soul synchronicity, it's bring everyone exactly in the same field of what your soul has designed for you and with you. So we talk about divine design or divine synchronicity. Everything arrive in divine synchronicity, everything is in divine order. Well, yes, indeed. There is a cosmic plan that you are part of. There is a cosmic design that you're part of. But if you look also at understanding that spark of you, that soul emanation of you that has returned in this body, that take on this identity, have a story, your upbringing, your family, your life experiences. It's just a soul emanation of you experiencing all of it. You know that lifetime that you're experiencing has been put in place by design. And this is what we call living life by soul design. And when you start to return into being more in terms of your own soul synchronicity, this is where things start to get much more fluid. Things start to really manifest in a way that it is really meant to be for you at the pace that you need to be. And there's this unfolding of events, if you would, and you start to really practicing that every day. I live and I listen and meditate and be in that soul synchronicity. You're going to start to feel there's less blockages or resistance or feeling impatient because things are not happening as quickly. What's happening? What am I doing incorrect? Well, the answer is really nothing. It's simply that when you release yourself or the mental sense of when things should happen, how they can happen, what needs to be manifested, you're starting to return into that co-creative flow of your soul synchronicity. So it is said that when you return to this lifetime, you made a promise, so to speak, to the Creator. It says, I will return in this incarnation at this generational timeline to bring service, to bring knowledge, to bring encoding and support. And so Creator says, great, thank you for returning to this planet and this service, right? But that when your soul design was shown to you, the possibilities of what a lifetime will be for you, well, you've returned into that synchronistic energy that your soul has co-created before you. Now, if you listen to that deep intuitive part of you that says, I remember, I know at a soul level, intuitively, I remember my soul synchronicity. You're letting at the same time the immense of the quantum field, the co-creation of the multiverse, who says, now would you just please get out of your own way and remembering that your design that is unfolding and has been unfolding as you. And that ties up to another question people have. What is my soul purpose? Right? People ask that. Or sometimes there's a feeling, I know I'm with my clients, people always ask me, I feel like I'm late for my soul purpose. I feel like I started a little bit late in my life. When will my soul purpose begin? And that is part of your soul synchronicity. Because the answer is that the moment you return, the moment you have returned to this beautiful planet, when you were born, the moment you return and you activate the sacred imprint that you create when you come back on this earth, you already been in your soul synchronicity. You have been part of your soul purpose. But what we do is that we force things, or we think that we have to create a sense of fulfillment, or if I accomplish a lot, I feel like that's my fulfillment, or if I help a lot of people, I'll be more in sync with my soul purpose. Or what happens is that it becomes a mentalized approach to that soul design. So it is a very retractive version of what that soul design is really about. But when you start to releasing that desire or that mental need to force everything, or to be, you have to really be of action all the time, or to feel that your mind has to dictate you, the nature, the nature of your design, well, you start to realize that it's encoded as part of you. And when you every day you allow and you welcome back that soul synchronicity, just feel already in your mind what is released. Can you feel in your body the tension releasing from your shoulders, your neck, to feel the obligation to take on so much, allowing your heart also to be unburdened, and just feel and reclaim. And as a quantum human experience, I now live in my soul synchronicity. I accept and I am receptive to the guidance of my soul synchronicity. And just let everything flow just for a moment. And already feel, even physically and energetically, what shifts for you right now. Beautiful. Let's take a deep breath and release. Welcome back. So soul synchronicity is the perfection, is the vibrational signature that you have returned to, that is unique to you, without having forcing or creating a mental understanding of it. It's a grand return to be truly in sync with who you are. And that opens the gateway of guidance, communications, synchronicity, resources, unblocking what seems to be blocked at first. It starts to open the flow. It's like removing a huge boulder out of the natural flow of your soul presence. Imagine this boulder be removed. What will happen? There's a restoration of that flow. Now, this is more than a concept. It's becoming a way of living and being. Soul synchronicity. This is what you return to. It's really part of your soul design. I wonder, Lauren, for you, just experiencing just in a short moment, already welcoming back that aspect of you and releasing, even from the body muscular memory, the tensions that we put ourselves. We put so much pressure on ourselves and obligations, and we put the bar really high, but it's a mental 3D bar. There's no bar at that level. You are who you are, imagining allowing that synchronicity based on your soul design. That opens new doors.
Yes, I felt when we were in that process for just a few moments with the eyes closed, it was like like a cage, a mental cage was melting away, and it was just dematerializing, and it was bringing us into pure presence. So this is what it is. It's presence, slowing down, and being in the heart. The heart's a big part of this too, isn't it? I
Oh,
know
absolutely.
that's another big question that people have. New people on the path, and even people who've been on the path for a while, still ask this question. How do we attune to the heart? How do we get into the heart? How do we know when we're in the head and not in the heart? These are questions that seem to come up frequently when we speak this way.
If you know you are in your heart, you know that there's a conscious presence. There's almost like a warmth, a knowingness that comes it. When you're in your mind, whether it's out of programming because of young age situations, what your higher mind or your conscious mind start to understand and create program or mechanism around it that the subconscious take on, you know that when you're in the mind, everything feel it's almost like more exhausting. It takes a lot of energy to maintain. It feel like everything depends on you. Everything feel like you're carrying a very heavy load. And even from a spiritual perspective, when we talk about a new quantum human, well, the new quantum human is simply a release of a 3D identity and accepting that there's a divine aspect to you, accepting that the human race has been always co-created as a race of beautiful celestial beings with natural faculties, whether it's telepathic communications, whether it's your ability to heal your body, whether it's the ability to decode higher vibrational languages, whether it's this natural faculties of compassion and understanding on the lifetime to live in harmony with an entire ecosystem. The earth was designed for you to live in harmony with it, not to take control over the planet. That's a big one. Returning the guardianship that we've always been designing. The earth is like an ark. It's an ark of diversity of life that contains so many different levels of DNA, genetic samples, and ecosystem. It is meant to be a secret place of guardianship, to live in harmony like a garden. Think of it as a garden. So will you take over the garden, your garden of your neighbor? It says, I know more because my mind tells me I'm going to take over your garden and turn into an ecosystem of, a shopping center and parking lot, all of this, and industrial aspect of your garden. Well, no, it will your neighbor won't be very happy with you. But it's the places that when you are in your heart, you understand that wonderful balance of when it's appropriate to put on boundaries, when it's appropriate to also being able to guide a friend who needs you, or without having to take on the burden or the emotional aspect of what's going on. When you are in your heart, you are in tune with life wherever you are. A stranger comes to you, were you able to be in that empathic response? Okay, you seems to be in needs. What's going on? How can I potentially help you? As opposed to be, oh, stranger danger, I'm not able to I'm busy. I'm shutting myself down out of fear, anxiety. My mind will take it over, and then the mind will fabricate a response. You're no longer in that empathic response. You're more into a logic, constructed mental response. And you can feel in your body, there may be a retraction, maybe your stomach, your solar plexus retract, or there's a pain in your heart, or there's something in the muscular responses. When you are in the mental mind, I see that a lot, even with spiritual teaching. People will take on, filter everything to the mind, but there's no feeling. And I'll tell you one thing, a lady came to me most recently, Lauren, and she said, I listen to a lot of guru and teachers and I do meditation, but everything feel like it's mental concept. And she said, well, I listen to your voice. I listen to the depth of all the energy that she said I convey. She told me for the first time I could feel in my heart. And it was overwhelming because I had no idea how to respond to that heart connection. So we understand that right now it's a grand return for humanity to return into that heart understanding, heart relation to others, and even to your own self. Being in the heart is the most empowering place you can be. And you can still work with your mind, but you're allowing your mind to evolve past the frame of reference or the programming structure that the mind has taken on, used as a mechanism or defense protection, and then it creates barriers. And I love going into public events. Why? Because this is why I observe the most. This is why I know, where are we on the planet? Where are we? Are those who are retracted in that fear energy? The mind is so strong that the heart is right behind the scene, protected. Or those who are really much in their heart center, but without understanding that there's no need to overly project that energy. It's a beautiful, what's called spiritual maturity balance. When you are in your heart and you know you're conscious about what you're projecting in terms of your energy, and yet you can still be present, grounded in that loving presence. You can still mentally be opening the field of that intelligence so you can combine the sacred art of having the mind, the higher mind, and the heart to communicate, to show what is the proper response or what needs to be done. Or somebody comes to you, you can feel the energy. What is the intention? What level of response they will understand? So you can readjust yourself. I know it's a sacred art, but this is part of the quantum human. Can you imagine if we were all in that quantum nature as a true human being, not the programmed 3D fragmented polarized version, but the quantum aspect of a human being having these heart mind balance and allowing that response every day? Well, you'll be able to talk to trees, you'll be able to talk to your birds, your animals, you'll be able to communicate with each other, and even with the planet consciousness, you will be able to work and be as a guardian every day. How does it feel? How would that feel to be this way every day? Hmm?
It is something that we reach for, that those who are already there know it and love it and live that way. And for those who are still practicing this, it's what we want. It really is. And we get better at, for those who are still working on distinguishing being in the head and being in the heart, being in the head is all the questions that come up. And so being in the heart is, again, like you said, it's the knowingness and it's the feeling. And when we're in that heart, there's it makes us quantum, because the information, as you said, when we can talk to trees or the birds or plants, we are back with our essential core. We are there. It's beautiful. And I see a world like that. So everyone keep going on it. Keep going. Don't be discouraged. So when we're able to show up in the heart like this, on the planet, in the collective, that definitely has to influence others. Well, it could influence and make some angry or perturbed with us if they are really retracted, or it'll help others elevate to us, entrain to our frequency as well. So I see that earth, I see it. And I see, like you said, you can see people in crowds this way. I can see that, and it's beautiful. So oof, when people fall out of it, when we get into our heads or something happens, what do you do to get back into your heart?
That's a great question, because being in the mind or being in the mental field, it's something that we understand has been helping generations of humans to go through a lot of changes, hardship, historical movement, and so forth. So it's simply recognizing to says, if I'm in the mind, like you mentioned, the mind will ask a lot of questions, but there's very little answers that comes from there. So when you start to feel yourself moving into the why, but how come, what is this experience is about? I see this light being come to me. What does it mean? You know you're in your mind. So when you have an experience, for example, let's say you see an orb, or in the clouds, there's a new cloud formation, looks like a ship, or you see some light, or there's a present comes to you, instead of being already super analyzing in your mind why this is happening to me, what does it mean? Says, okay, I want to better understand and appreciate this experience I just had with an orb or a light being or a presence. Then bring yourself up, say, I'm going to ask my heart. Bring yourself, your energy down to your heart, and says, heart, I ask to your wisdom, reveal to me the meaning of this encounter, the meaning of this blue light I saw, the meaning behind this name I was given, or this dream I had. I'm asking my heart to show me, reveal to me, and let your heart talks to you. Whether it's a sense of knowingness, sensation, warmth, maybe it's light frequencies. You may see sacred geometric patterns or configurations coming through, or simply observing through your heart a sense that I know the answer. I feel it. It is a clear knowingness. And I'm going to simply meditate and stay in that state of knowingness as it continues to evolve and expand and reveal more aspect to it. And if your mind distracts you with more questions, tell your mind, today we are listening to the answers to the heart. Come, watch the answers to come naturally. Stay connected to my heart. Use your entire body and all of your internal senses, including your chakras, to experience at a deeper level what those answers or that moment of clarity of knowingness. And we also invite you to hold more consciously the intention that you will continue to cultivate that sensation or that experience with gratitude instead of with questions. So I am grateful for this being to come to me. I'm going to hold this experience with gratitude. It allows you to detach or unwind from the why or the questioning aspect of your mind. So instead of retracting in your mind and missing out of the gift that has been given to you, just cultivate, say, thank you for this gift. I am grateful. And to my heart, I continue to expand in understanding more and more the meaning of this gift for me. Invite your mind to evolve. It is meant to be. It is designed to evolve along with you. Feel the difference. So something happened, stay in gratitude, said, thank you for this present. Thank you for this, this light, this orb, this being coming, or this dream that brought me another level. And I'm going to hold a space in gratitude first before running wild with all the whys. And then you send emails to people or psychic and teachers, and you're asking somebody else to explain to you why is this experience happening for you. That's a mental approach. So that's a way to cultivate it. That's something that creates sadness or a difficulty, and you want to understand also the meaning behind what's going on. Use the same technique. Says, okay, something challenging is happening to me right now. I wish to have a better understanding. So bring yourself back to your heart. Says, show me Why is this duality happening right now? Is it to teach me something that is unresolved from childhood? Something I carry in my field? Something I've been really wanted to release, and that could be an answer to which it came through? Show me the meaning behind it. I am ready to receive it with higher presence, higher mental presence, within my heart and all of my being. And that also helps you to build more and more what we call the self mastery. If you take a deep breath and then release it. So, the difference between the mind and the heart: mind will make you panic. Why? What's going on? Your feel is retracted. When in your heart, you can go, this is happening. It's like, wow, beautiful event, or there's an old emotion coming in. But you're allowing your field, your energetic field, to still be expanded. There's no need to retract yourself in fear, anxiety, or stress. If you retract yourself, you may be more into a mental approach of protection and survival. When you go back into your heart, acknowledge it with gratitude. Go back to your heart, bring your field back up, open your field again. I'm going to release the initial response. I'm re-expanding again. Now I'm going to really listen and be present in my heart for the answers. And I'll tell you one thing, my intergalactic groups, when the Octurns come and my father come, always says, now let's take a step forward, backwards. Look at the bigger picture. What have you learned? What have you learned? Is there a pattern we've been wanting to teach you, but you still want to experience at all costs? So we'll let you do it. Now you understand it, don't you? Yes, I do now. Ah, what have you learned? What would you do differently? And so your review, like looking at a multidimensional perspective, is also quantum nature. When you're looking at a situation to multi angles, you're opening your multidimensional sensory understanding. You're allowing your physical senses to be more quantum in nature instead of limited to touch, feel, and what I think I know. You're moving out of that box. You're becoming much more attuned with higher perspective. So the answers has a more refined quality to it because your level of receptivity is increasing as well. I hope that makes sense.
Absolutely. Thank you for that beautiful technique, because the majority of us on this planet, we were programmed to live in the mind. And so this is the journey to the heart, and where the heart knows all. It is really interesting. We always do tend to go out to others. I need help explaining this. I'm going through something. I need help explaining. But when we can rely on the heart, we do get the answers. I've seen it out in nature. I've seen a lot of birds, crows actually. And then, and it was uncanny how many crows were on this journey that I took a couple years ago. And then I finally got the pattern. Whenever I was, the crows were reminding me to stay in my heart, and they would show up when I was not in my heart. And then I would catch myself thinking, so that's where, when we learn to really cultivate this heart space all the time, we have so much more information. Our toroidal field of the heart is where that information is. That's the quantumness of us. It's a huge energy. And so when we start to feel that worry of the mind or the mental, then we know we're in our head. When we ask those questions, that's wonderful. Perfect. Okay. And so then this is also how we are becoming galactic people, galactic beings. We're remembering our cosmicness. And so you have a subtitle here, Awakening the Cosmic Ambassador Within. What is our cosmic ambassador. We are the cosmic ambassador. Share more on what this means.
Absolutely, Lauren. It's all interconnected because from a seed creates the potential or the genetic potential of a new creation. So you think about like an acorn in nature. It seems so little, helpless, powerless, but the genetic codes that acorn contain has the power to co-create a very powerful, gigantic, very rooted tree that we love to admire in nature. But it starts by that genetic seed within itself, right? When it's nurtured properly in the soil with the sun, the solar frequencies, water, the nutrients of the soil, then the growth, and so the seed becomes exactly what it was always meant to be. So it's the same thing with human being. There's within your DNA such level of genetic seeds and memory that has the potential to really reawaken that which you were always meant to be. And what you're meant to be is you are this quantum human being, then you are part of a very vast interstellar. I like that word because it's very positive and very loving, a very vast interstellar community of a multitude of other seeds that was meant to be to create another level of creation, whether you call the Syrians, the Lyrians, whether those from Venus, Alpha Centauri, and all four. So think of it as a multitude of seeds that contain that conscious genetic imprint of what they were meant to be and create for. And now you're starting to reopen. You're starting to return to the fullness of your design as opposed to a fragment aspect of a personality and all the trait that comes with it. And then you start to just identify yourself to that little tiny part of you. So it's like the acorn on a galactic level where your evolution is progressive. You're starting to release the next level of opening, and the seed cracks open a bit further. Then there's more release, and you go, oh, there's some transformation going on. I'm purging a lot. What's happening? Listen, am I shifting from one state of consciousness to the next? And you experiencing symptoms, whether it's emotional, mental, physical. If that's so, I return into your soul synchronicity. This is part of my soul design. I return and let that flow. So the more you do this, the more you start to remembering more and more and more and more that why am I really on this planet for? Where if you're star seeds coming from another intergalactic groups, universe, galaxies, multiverse, well, as an emissary, you have returned to bring in the very specific frequencies of that soul group. So you bring the seeds elsewhere, and your role is to bring them here on this earth to support the earth to blossom back again as a sacred garden, like she always meant to be. She's an ark or a garden, if you want to call it this way. So this is very important. This is why every step of the way, every level of purging, opening, rediscovering, physical release, even when you have a cold, maybe your body says, I'm going to need to disconnect you temporarily because I need to go through this big energetic reset. Or it can teach you like, if you go into certain events or you expose yourself to certain frequencies that no longer match your field, it may create a physical response called a cold. What have you learned? You've already started to shift. The inner seed of it is already start to blossom and germinate into a higher aspect of you. So it's all of you that is invited. The mind, the heart, the subconscious mind, the unconscious field, your body template, the body memory, all aspect of you is invited. There's no more separation because physically, what your body template is shifting, energetically, your energy anatomy is also shifting. That means it's going to create change in your chakras, in your DNA, the way you think, the way you feel, your perspective, even physically. Visions, hear, smell become more attuned. People get more sensitive to sound, tones. Throat chakra is opening. Everything becomes an invitation to realize that you are shifting the next level of your seeds and start to open up to you because it is part of your soul design. This is what you've come to do. So, from an intergalactic perspective, we can see on the planet what aspect of the population is at what stage of their seed of opening, and what may be a little bit stubborn, and those seeds are resisting into blossoming out of programming or keeping certain part of the world in conflict. That needs to be resolved. No more of that. Now we are transcending beyond the conflictual paradigm. And that's a big one. Shifting out of the conflictual paradigm, it means also within yourself and between your mind and your heart. No more conflict between the mind and the heart. I am shifting out of that conflictual paradigm. I'm bringing more harmony. I'm allowing my mind wants to know, I'll let my heart answers. So you start to understand that your interaction with life, trees, nature, the land, how you become more responsible using resources, being attuned with the sacred elements on the planet, it allows you to return more and more into that emissary role. And I know that those who be watching, many of you are star seeds, meaning a soul emanation who came from another civilizations. Now your brothers and sisters, your intergalactic groups, there's so many of them, so many. So has diversity of life on your planet. Imagine how diversity of life there is in the multiverse, as above, so below. So you're starting to reconnect, go, oh, I am part of a very large, intelligent, evolving ecosystem of life. And that is well beyond my 3D world, what I have known, religion background, spiritual concept, earth, solar system, and you start to move up, 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 and more. There is a very large community you're a part of. So we are returning to start to grasp, accept, and be more receptive that I too, I'm an emissary of light. And as an emissary, you'll be eventually stepping more and more into your enlightened path, return to the seed that is continuing to grow and germinate and blossom and expand and return into the true role as ambassadors, as we are. Remember, you're representatives. You are many representatives of different worlds onto one planet. Well, Gaia knows that, and she knows her consciousness. Gaia knows all of it. She knows you. She sees you. She feels you. Not your identity and your name and all these labels. She's no concern about that. You. So your brothers and sisters in the stars, so to speak, this vast quantum intelligent community also see you. So this is again the seed blossoming, expanding. We are returning, we are being invited. Think of it this way, Lauren. It's an invitation. It is an invitation to start to re-embrace again. It's a grand return. Like the seed contains a genetic potential of what it's meant to be. Are you allowing that seed to grow? That's the question.
Yes, that's so empowering and so comforting as well. Wow. All right, as we breathe that in and truly grasp it with our heart. Again, the word comforting, comforting. We've got this, and we are emissaries of light. Absolutely. We did a lot of a really beautiful technique for being in the heart, but I wanted to give you a moment. Did you want to do a heart chakra clearing exercise to reactivate this ancient part of our being of soul synchronicity?
Yes, please. That would be
Right.
wonderful.
Cool.
Perfect. Yeah, let's do it. It will be short, effective, experiential, beautiful. So make yourself comfortable, feet on the ground. Thank you for closing your eyes. And I would lovingly recommend that you put one hand on top of your heart. And just take a moment to really breathe consciously with the intention to connect to your heart center. Your heart, it is the very core of your being. It is the essence of who you are. Think of it this way: your heart is the chalice that holds your sacred essence. This beautiful spark of light, that soul essence, right into the grace of your heart, which is why your heart is the core aspect of your realignment and your ascension process. Yes, you are worthy and you fit in because you are a fractal of the prime creator. You are part of that divine cosmic design, what we call the creator plan. You always fit in no matter what, because you are this sacred aspect, this sacred essence of the prime creator of all. So we invite you to really embrace, accept the invitation to breathe more and more into your heart. Imagine that you're expanding the energetic field of your heart center, which means that each breath that you take, you bring in more light. And when you exhale, exhale all that limits you. Release any lower emotions, sadness, grief, fear, anxiety. Release any false sense of unworthiness. Just liberate. Imagine that you're clearing your heart center, making more room for the light to expand, for higher truth to be revealed to you, for listening to higher guidance and answers with clarity, presence. So breathe into the light and exhale through your heart all that no longer serves. Let go of all the emotional attachments, including old stories and false impressions about yourself, your life, around you. Release. Breathe in the light. Expand. Release all that no longer serves. And allow the intelligent field of your heart to truly re-expand, to connect all the way to your biofield, becoming one. One with your mind, one with your body, one with your solo bodies of light, one with all there is, including your I am presence. And remember one phrase: I am a fractal of unconditional love. I am a fractal of unconditional love. And let this powerful affirmation to illuminate your heart, your mind, your path, your actions, your words, and everything that you wish to truly co-create, and what aspect of a reality you wish to experience for yourself, others, and all life on this earth. Let's take a deep breath in and release. Beautiful. Feel that you are grounded in loving presence, refreshed, clear, expanded, and filled with much more light. And that's what we call true empowerment. Welcome back, everyone.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Feeling into that is so beautiful. I am a fractal of unconditional love. Yes, worthy of a post-it note.
Yes, a big one.
Monitor on our fridge, wherever, because that is so beautiful when we feel that and we know that. It guides us, doesn't it? It guides us in everything,
Everything.
everything, every choice, every interaction, and holding it is the key. Holding that. Don't lose sight of that. Thank you so much.
You
Cool.
are very welcome.
We are so honored to have you lift us in this vibration today. A lot of energy, bringing us into our heart and really feeling anchored there. So powerful. Thank you. There are people who want to work with you, and you've got beautiful programs that you've put together. One is a webinar that's coming up. We are excited for this. DNA encoding and higher consciousness. Tell us about this webinar, and we want everyone to register because it's going to be great.
I'm very excited about it. It's really supporting the quantum human evolution that we talked about. It's really about embracing more our fifth dimensional body. It's allowing the DNA itself to become more a conscious gateway of communication. We talk about the seed, and it's about releasing more into conscious activation those seeds of those genetic encoded seeds, and it's part of your DNA. It's so much more to it. And I know many of you have been doing many DNA activation, but let me tell you, every time we bring with the mastery of the Arcturians another level, we bring also our intergalactic perspective. We're looking also in terms of on a quantum level, how each strand of your DNA really communicate with each other and how the influence within your own ecosystem of your internal universe, how everything impact with each other. So we're going to have a more multidimensional approach to this to really support also the equivalent state of awareness that needs to take place. So that creates also shift, helping you to remove ancient blockages, things that no longer not only serve, but also that may be also moving in the way or preventing you from embodying more of your higher self, embodying more of this new DNA quantum field that is really evolving and shifting. So no matter how many activation you've done, we're doing it in right now as Gaia's sentient field is shifting into a new level of quantum presence. So we're going to really support the next wave of frequency coming in. And it's really helping even in your body structures, everything. And we also will guide you step by step into this multidimensional process. So I'm really excited about this webinar. It's going to be done on Zoom. So very easy, very seamless. We're going to open a sacred holographic field with my intergalactic masters of light. Bring your higher self, your beautiful part of you, and we're going to take a deep dive into this activation.
Very cool. Thank you so much. All of the webinars that you offer are so high vibrational. They're potent with transformational energy. Really exquisite. Thank you for this. And that webinar for everyone is available on this webpage or wherever you're watching this video. It's in the description link. And we invite you to join Viviane for this. You will be elevated anew. And as we love ourselves and make choices from love, that even further activates our dormant DNA. It's really remarkable how that all works and functions. So we are excited for this, Viviane, and we thank you so much for offering it. Very cool.
Oh, it's really my pleasure. This is what I'm here for. And with my delegation, we're here to bring, a sense of a future aspect of you. We're here to remind you really much of what you really carry and who you are and what you can achieve so much more than what your mental and even your emotional body have been dictating to you. So we're transcending. It's a beautiful release and embodying it, embracing and welcoming that much need transformation that is so much in sync with where we're going and where we're shifting into, especially this year on the planet. So we're always happy to be of service.
Thank you. We're definitely feeling this shift underway. It is really deeply underway. So everyone, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your awareness of your quantum humanness and expanding your multidimensionality. You are here, as Viviane mentioned, for a purpose. Soul synchronicity, your soul plan is your seated map of that acorn. You are here for your purpose, and we are so grateful that you are on this planet with us and taking on this level of work and empowerment for yourself. Thank you. So Viviane, thank you again for being here. As we say goodbye, I just want to give you a moment for final thoughts.
It is always a privilege to be of service and always a joy to be with you, Lauren, and all your wonderful audience on the network. It's really about understanding what level of consciousness do I choose to be into more and more. And that will also reflect the quality of your life. What level of reality are you ready to transcend? And being able to understand what else is possible for me in terms of what other level of reality and experiences, blessings, lessons, wisdom am I ready to embrace more? So think of it this way. I'll use a very 3D analogy. If you're in high school, you go through all the grades, right? And it comes to the point and you have a choice to graduate or you can retake everything over again. Would you repeat yourself in the same loop or would you allow yourself to graduate to the next level? And it may create uncertainty, not knowing what's going on or what's going to be in store for me, but allow yourself to understand that you are truly here by soul design, and your soul design has been unfolding the moment you came back and everything. So take the time to really understand the journey, extract the key elements, the essence of your journey, whether it's understanding what duality is about, whether it's understanding of what being empathic really feels like. Maybe it's to simply return to that point of the heart. And for you, that journey, everything has been giving you an opportunity to embody more, understand, and accept. So that will be our invitation today.
Everything is that opportunity. Everything. Again, comforting. Thank you, Viviane Chauvet.
You're welcome.
And thank you, everyone, for your heart light. We love you and we thank you. Namaste. This has been a presentation of New Earth One Network, your home for New Earth living. Access information, education, and videos on living from the heart in unity consciousness. Visit newearth1.com.